40 degrees, 725, November 3rd. Look at the barometer, 30.41. That's pretty high. I think that's a little too high. Hey, where is everybody? Where is everybody? How'd you guys get outside? What are you doing, Rex? Where'd you come from? Did you guys spend the night outside? Very interesting development. Mommy got up before Daddy today. That doesn't usually happen. Hi, Steve. How's the morning? I haven't put the bird feed in the feeder yet. There's the weather stick. It's kind of neutral. You know, that weather stick points up when it's a beautiful day and then kind of points down if it's not so nice day. It's a pretty enough day. There's some altocumulus that came in and caused the temperature to start rising before the sun came up. Rick in Gunquit, Maine, as always, got the beautiful sunrise with a sun pillar there, that spike of sunlight refracting and reflecting off of ice crystals on a 90 degrees up above the horizon. Anyhow, so we have commenced with the warm air advection. High pressure has moved south and east, but when these high pressure systems move south and east, there's that 1033 south of Cape Cod. Often these mornings are the coldest mornings for Cape Cod and the islands. And sure enough, at 6 a.m., Hyannis at 26 degrees, colder than places like, even North Adams, Massachusetts at 34, Concord, New Hampshire at 30. Even the bottom 4,000 feet of the Mount Washington Auto Road was warmer than Hyannis this morning. Although the top of Mount Washington is gorgeous, and it's been a little bit of snow on Mount Washington last night. See, the thing is, in order to get it really cold at night, at least to decouple the atmosphere and down near the ground, you want a clear sky, which we had for a while, and calm air, which we had for a while, but not at my house. I only got down to 37, so I have yet to have a freeze. So the coldest I've been is 36 degrees, kind of challenging next to the water and on a hill. And I'm sure the beaches on the south side of Cape Cod are not 26 degrees. Hyannis is right in the middle of the Cape. So it's called radiational cooling. We know all about that, right? And advection is happening now, warm air advection, but it's not that warm. This is, day? Let's see, the Arctic front got in here on October 24th. So it was more than a week ago now with this cold high pressure crossing the nation. And this morning, there's still record cold happening. Mid-Atlantic to northern Alabama in the mid-20s this morning. So this high is moving out, and now this is sort of a warm front. The mackerel sky indicates a lot of moisture aloft and some instability, and it's not going to be exactly a sunny weekend. Front is coming at us, so here's the surface map. Today there goes that high offshore, and then this is the Weather Prediction Center map. There's the front coming at New England tomorrow, that blue line, and you see a couple of little specks of green and blue, so a couple of rain and high elevation snowflakes are possible near the Canadian border tomorrow, and then that front stalls right out over central New England, stalls out right over New England, I meant to say, on Sunday. So that's going to be sort of the storm track. And where's the storm? What's coming out of the Pacific Ocean today? Now let's go to the day by day and the pivotal weather. This is the Euro ECMWF computer guidance, which I find more reliable, especially because it only goes out 10 days than the GFS, which goes out 16 days. So less prone to make an error when you're talking within 10 days. But even there, it's a challenge. Anyhow, sorry, I'll go back to that. A 9-something low, vigorous storm goes north of New England on Monday night into Tuesday. And with that, we're going to have strong winds from the southwest. And even the top of Mount Washington may be warm enough for a little bit of rain with that before going back to snow. Colder air comes back in on Wednesday. Now, different than yesterday, but more like a few days ago. Here comes something Thursday. Late Wednesday into Thursday and lingering into Friday. So that's going to be mixed precipitation across New England. And then it doesn't look like a huge deal, but I think this is still probably a little bit underdone because of the strength of the storms coming in off the Pacific and the amount of cold in Canada. We've talked about that so much. So I think next week is going to be active. Every 48 hours or so, expect a round of precipitation of varying degrees of intensity. The rain-snow line likely does not get south of I-90 like it did this week. So it'll be close, though. It'll be close. And then next weekend, right there at the end, that's a 1040 cold high pressure system coming into the northeast. So that's going to ensure more wintry chill anyway going into next weekend. So the Snow Guns at Killington opening today. Congratulations. First day of lift-served skiing for the pass holders at Killington today. And they did cover Superstar top to bottom. Happy to see, too, that Stowe, not opening for probably a couple of weeks, but did cover, looks like Standard or Lord there on the left. So there is a trail that's covered in snow at Mount Mansfield. That's pretty nice. The natural snow that's just dusting and is going to melt over the next day or two. And Sean Vec yesterday says, yeah, I put on my split board on my back, and yeah, we did Derek's hot shot from top to bottom on what, 2 inches of ice with a little bit of snow on top. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what he said it was. So it is definitely turned the corner here. Winter all of a sudden. And tomorrow the clocks go back. And so it's a 49-hour weekend. And not going to be a lot of sunshine around. The brightest weather is going to be at the south coast of New England. So some sunshine. Mostly cloudy weekend. Temperatures going to stay above freezing in most of New England at night and go to about 50 to 55 by day. So fairly quiet November weather. Good raking weather. I got a start on it yesterday. I'd rather rake the leaves when they're fluffy, and they certainly were fluffy. I actually don't have any trees in my yard other than that one that we split with the neighbor. So I go and I collect the leaves from the neighbors, believe it or not. Yep. And there are the pumpkins that were out front. Something got to them first. The fluffy leaves. This is all worm food and some grass clippings from some time ago. And mix these together, and there's your worm farm. And that is probably really, no, not that warm. Not as warm as I thought. Planted that lilac. That's all in the out the door weather and more. And the animals get some of the seeds. I get some of the seeds. And I mentioned yesterday that the dill would be the first to go when I got a real freeze. And the dill did not go. So, no freeze for TK yet. Have a good weekend. And more coming up right now. Status. Still in my pajamas, editing, and just coincidentally, this is what I was saying. Friday, and it's going to go right into April. April is the last time, May, maybe even June. Anyhow, April was the last time I saw my temperature in the 30s here at my house. So it's been 7 months. Just editing. Cold. My fingers right when I saw your tweet. High pressure goes offshore. The wind comes around. For the coldest morning since April, certainly recovered nicely, at least in the lee of the wind on the south side of the house. But we got issues here. Look at these tracks. Look at these seeds. I'm not talking about the maple seed. I'm talking about the pumpkin seed. Something got to my seed before I did. The goal was to harvest these seeds for next year. Yuck. Gross. Look at this. That's what the inside of a rotten pumpkin looks like. T-Rex, you want to check that out? If you start eating that, I might gag. Anyhow, I can get this one before the animals do. Let's just take a look in there. You know, these pumpkins grew pretty early in the season, so they went pretty early too. Let's see what they look like. Trying to do this with one hand, holding the phone. I thought I'd get in here a little easier because whatever got into that other one, which I think was probably a squirrel, right? Still plenty of seeds in here when they're barehanded, Tim. Yes. So I will take some of these seeds and salvage them. And the animals need seeds too, right? Look at that little new growth there on that mum. Otherwise the mums are going by. This is the one mum that made it through last winter. All the rest died. And this is the one where the rabbits or something ate the tops off of. And they look like they're trying to bloom again. So we'll see, T-Rex. We might get another mum bloom. But so we're on the backside of the high pressure system. I'm sure this morning it was colder in the valleys than it was on the mountains, because that's what happens after the high goes by and the warm air advection begins. The coldest is going to be in the valleys with perhaps a frost. And the first place to frost around here is that roof right over there. So did that roof frost this morning? I'd say probably did. Called forecasting and making the verification in the morning. Steve, want to help out with the seeds? So I saved summer squash seeds. You saw that soup I made over the weekend. So those are going to be summer squash seeds. Those have dried out nicely. Those will be fine. Yep. And then we kind of just do the same with the pumpkin seeds. Grab them. And then it takes a little more time. It doesn't take many pumpkin seeds to make a lot of pumpkins. They smell All right, yeah, so that's a pumpkin seed and a cat. Pumpkin seed trail. And did anyone catch the error I just made discussing what seeds these were from the soup over the weekend? Butternut squash, not summer squash. Butternut squash. I would not try and work that hard on saving summer squash. Butternut's a different story altogether. These are the best. Just in the shadow of that telephone pole, it's colder right here where I'm working on the seeds. Dare me to go in there? What is that? Rotten pumpkin. You like to have a couple of varieties of seeds, right? The not so bad variety and then the oopy goopy variety, which I'll dry out. And also, you know, leave some for the critters, put them down in the compost pile. And T-Rex will have somebody to smell around, chase around in the morning. Ah! Steve broke out of his leash and took off just now. All right, one other project too, this lilac that we got as a gift. And it's been kind of sitting in the corner. So it's time for this lilac to go in, probably to the rescue garden for the winter. And you can see during the heat wave in September when we weren't around, this thing dried out and almost looked like it was trying to die. But since then, it's blossomed back. So these are the ones that suffered from the hot and dry weather in September. It'll be fine. I'll put it in, give it a lot of water. Anything you're trying to save tonight, you might want to, or last night, it's too late now, isn't it? Have a lot of water. And we'll monitor this in the rescue garden. This new iPhone has 3 lenses and it's so frustrating that when you try and focus, it doesn't always work. It jumps. Jump into the prime spot in the rescue garden. I thought I had it out of its spot. Not yet. So it's gonna get a prime spot to rest for the winter. It's down lower, so I think it'll be protected from the northeast wind. And we're not gonna have sunshine here again until like almost St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day anyway. It's gonna have the right tool, right? Wow, it's tough. See, the thing is, I'm holding the camera with my right hand, which is my good hand. It's also my machete hand. Let's see if that works. There it is. There it is. There's that lilac root. Look at that thing just wanting to spread. Yeah, once you get your lilacs going, be careful because they're gonna keep going and going and going. Ready? Jump. There you go. So prime spot in the worm farm lineup here, which is going to be growing over the days. You'll be watching the advance of that and this. And once again, if the dill hasn't wilted yet, that means we haven't had a freeze. So the sun's going down. I have no idea what it's going to look like when I get up. Jump, jump. Always jumping, always jumping. Now it has to jump back to another lens to focus farther out. So I do have some complaints about the iPhone 15, but it certainly makes good looking video once you get it to focus. How's the audio? Down in front. All right. There's not much of a time lapse to leave you for sunset. That's it right there. I still think it's beautiful. That's it. That's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow.